Pure sniper. This guy lives to light the lamp. Give him a sliver of daylight and it's top shelf, where mama hides the cookies. No hesitation, just pure goal-scoring instinct that makes goalies question their life choices. That's archetype number 1, and we've got 24 more coming your way. Every single type of NHL player explained, from the guys who drop the gloves to the wizards who see plays 3 passes ahead. If you've ever wondered what makes each player unique on the ice, you're about to find out everything. Let's start with that pure sniper I just mentioned. These guys have one job: score goals. They've mastered the one-touch release, whether it's a wrist snap hybrid, a quick drag wrister, or a booming one-timer. What makes them special is their off-puck movement. They're constantly curling into soft ice, timing that F3 swing on the rush perfectly. Most players need the perfect setup, but snipers shoot from bad angles because their shot itself is lethal. Their individual expected goals per 60 minutes leads the team every single time. You'll find these snipers starting offensive zone faceoffs, camping on the weak side half boards during power plays. Since the league cracked down on obstruction in 2005, snipers have been feasting on faster puck movement and more power plays. The modern twist is the circle stalking sniper who starts low in coverage, then explodes up the flank for that cross-ice seam. Think about Ovechkin in his left dot office. That spot has his name on it. When we talk classic snipers, we're looking at Mike Bossy and Brett Hull. Today, it's Austin Matthews, David Pastrnak, and of course, Alex Ovechkin. Teams try to shut them down by denying lateral seams, fronting the shooter instead of chasing the puck, and using active sticks in passing lanes rather than body contact. Hit a sniper, and he'll often just evade you anyway. Now here's where it gets interesting with archetype number 2, the playmaker. These are the setup artists who make everyone around them better. They've got that east-west vision, manipulating passing angles with shoulder fakes that leave defenders guessing. While snipers shoot, playmakers pass through seams rather than around them. Their primary assist rate is off the charts, and they typically carry over 10% of their team's pass to slot for shots share. What's crazy about playmakers is they're often deceptive skaters. Raw speed isn't their thing, it's pace variation that matters. They'll slow down, speed up, then hit you with a pass you never saw coming. You'll find them quarterbacking the power play from the half wall, usually opposite the sniper. On the rush, they're the F1 drawing defenders before threading that late seam feed that turns into a goal. Classic playmakers include Adam Oates and Ron Francis, masters of making average line mates look like all-stars. Today we've got Mitch Marner, Nikita Kucherov, and Leon Draisaitl when he's playing wing. Teams counter them by compressing the slot, forcing them outside the dots into low-probability passes. But the best playmakers find a way regardless. Speaking of finding a way, let's talk about archetype 3, the power forward. These are the big boys, usually 6'2" or taller, over 200 pounds, but with hands that belong on a smaller player. They're net drive monsters who generate rebounds and chaos. Power forwards draw penalties at an insane rate because they live between the hash marks where all the action happens. Give them the puck below the goal line and they own that real estate. The power forward role evolved big time after the lockout. Speed became crucial, so these guys had to slim down and refine their edge work. Look at Chris Kreider's acceleration using those C-cuts. That's modern power forward skating. They're key for that middle lane drive that pulls the defense apart and creates space for line mates. Cam Neely and Brendan Shanahan wrote the book on power forward play. Today it's Matthew Tkachuk stirring up trouble, Chris Kreider crashing nets, and Gabriel Landeskog before his injury. Teams try to contain them with front-off positioning, boxing out early before they gain inside position and limiting rebound chaos with crisp, low-slot clearouts. Good luck with that when a 220-pound monster is bearing down on you. Quick reminder, if you're loving this breakdown, smash that subscribe button. We're just getting started, and the archetypes only get better from here. Number 4 brings us to the two-way forward, and these guys are coaches' dreams. They put up offensive numbers while being trusted defensively. We're talking balanced counting stats plus strong defensive metrics. Their relative expected goals stay positive whether the team's trailing or leading. That's incredibly hard to do. Two-way forwards take defensive zone faceoffs, get thrown out there with a 1-goal lead in the final minute, and excel at transition defense with perfect angling, back pressure, and controlled stick work. Since Patrice Bergeron's Selke Trophy dominance, Every team hunts for centers who combine those defensive traits with 70-point offensive ceilings. Steve Yzerman transformed into this role after 1994, and Jiri Lehtinen pioneered it for wingers. Modern examples include Bergeron himself, Ryan O'Reilly, and Alexander Barkov. The only way to beat them is to wear them down with relentless offensive zone cycles, forcing them to defend so much that their offensive game suffers. Even then, the best ones find ways to contribute at both ends. Now we shift gears to Archetype 5, the grinder or energy winger. These guys top team charts in forecheck pressures, hits, and dump in recoveries. They're not finishing plays with highlight reel goals since their shooting percentage usually sits below 12%. But they keep the puck 200 feet from their own net, and that's invaluable. Grinders operate on short shifts with high-octane philosophy, going all out for 45-second bursts, then changing. Fourth-line energy units built around these players stabilize momentum after the other team scores. Modern grinders are faster than ever thanks to summer skate treadmill training, but they're actually lighter than old-school grinders. Rule changes reduced clutch and grab tactics, so foot speed matters more than brute strength now. Bob Gainey pioneered this role, with Rob Niedermeyer carrying the torch. Today it's Blake Coleman, Miles Wood, and Brandon Duhaime bringing that energy. Teams beat grinders by using quick defense-to-defense passes to dodge the forecheck and elongating their defensive shifts to sap their energy. Make them skate backward for 2 minutes and watch them lose effectiveness. Archetype 6 takes us into controversial territory, the enforcer. These are the fighters, the policemen, the intimidators who protect star players. At their peak in the 1990s, enforcers could play single-digit minutes while racking up 300-plus penalty minutes. Their job was simple: make opponents think twice about taking liberties with skilled teammates. But here's the thing, the enforcer role is basically extinct. Between 2010 and now, rule changes, concussion protocols, and analytics have devalued one-dimensional toughness. Today's enforcer has to penalty kill or at least forecheck effectively. Guys like Ryan Reeves and Nick Delorier represent the modern hybrid, but even they struggle for ice time. With teams needing 3 lines of depth scoring, there's no roster spot for pure fighters anymore. Bob Probert, Ty Domi, and Marty McSorley defined the classic enforcer era. The counter strategy is simple: create skating mismatches and cycle them until they're exhausted. They can't fight if they can't catch you. Let's lighten things up with Archetype 7, the agitator or pest. These players draw more penalties than they take through constant verbal and physical needling. They're usually smaller, but absolutely fearless, excelling at after-whistle scrums without triggering major penalties. The best ones chirp in multiple languages because mind games count just as much as physical play. The key for agitators is marrying their pest qualities with genuine skill. Brad Marchand post-2016 is the perfect example, putting up 40 goals while making enemies around the league. Pure pests without scoring upside fade fast under salary cap pressure. Esa Tikkanen and Claude Lemieux mastered this art form back in the day. Currently, it's Marchand leading the charge, with Michael Bunting and Brendan Gallagher providing similar value. Beat them with discipline, refuse to retaliate, get the officials on your side, and target them with heavy cycle shifts rather than trying to hit them. Number 8 brings defensive specialists into focus, the shutdown center or defensive forward. These Selke Trophy candidates start over 60% of their shifts in the defensive zone and still manage to break even or better. They've mastered the stick lift, perfect back pressure angles, and face-off technique with 55% or better success rates. They create low-event games on both ends, suppressing shots while rarely taking risks. The checking line peaked during the dead puck era, but today's shutdown centers like Philip Deneau still exist. They just need to transition quicker to offense because overall league scoring has increased. Usually they center a line with a grinder and a two-way winger. Guy Carbonneau and John Madden set the standard. Modern examples include Deneau, Jordan Staal, and Adam Lowry. Counter them by cycling behind the net to force coverage switches and exploiting defense low to high plays where their stick lift skills have less impact. Archetype 9 is super specific, the face-off specialist. These guys win 58 to 65% of their draws through quick hands and subtle cheating on the dot. They might have limited minutes otherwise, maybe coming out as the fourth forward on penalty kills. But when you're protecting a 1-goal lead late and need that defensive zone draw, coaches double shift them specifically for that moment. Faceoff tracking technology has elevated this specialist role, though their value is still limited by how many crucial draw opportunities actually exist. Smart teams cross-train their top 9 centers on faceoffs to avoid burning a roster spot on a one-trick player. Yannick Perreault, Antoine Vermette, and Luc Glendening embody this role across different eras. Beat them by stacking your winger behind the dot for quick puck recovery or switching handedness to disrupt their preferred grip. But hold up, this next archetype is special. We're talking about the net front presence, or tip specialist at number 10. These players have elite hand-eye coordination, strong calves and ankles for boxing out, and absolutely zero fear of cross-checks. Their heat map shows a permanent residence in the low slot where they feast on rebounds and deflections. The art is in screening goalies using subtle torso leans without taking interference penalties. Modern power plays employ dedicated bumper and net front players, and while this sometimes overlaps with power forwards, smaller players like Joe Pavelski prove that balance and hands can compensate for size. As goaltenders adopted the reverse VH and butterfly techniques, tips became more lethal. Goalies drop early now, leaving upper corners exposed for redirections. Thomas Holmstrom and Ryan Smythe pioneered this thankless role. Today it's Pavelski, Chris Kreider, and Zach Hyman making goalies miserable. Counter them by fronting the screen, positioning a defender between the tipper and goalie while aggressively tying up their stick. Quick reminder number 2 here. Hit that subscribe button if you want more hockey content like this. We're not even halfway through yet. Archetype 11 brings pure excitement, the speedster or transition threat. These players have that extra gear, whether it's linear acceleration, edge attacks at 10 and 2, or those McDavid-style crossover speeds that leave defenders grabbing air. They generate controlled zone entries over 60% of the time and force defenders into panic gap adjustments. The neutral zone trap of the late 90s nearly killed this player type, but post-lockout obstruction changes and the 2017 slashing crackdown reopened their runway. Coaches now build stretch pass breakouts around speedsters, drawing defensive pairs deep to create space underneath. Pavel Bure was the prototype. Today, Connor McDavid and Dylan Larkin carry the torch, with Cale Makar bringing similar speed from the blue line. The counter requires maintaining a tight, staggered gap and deploying flat-footed neutral zone positioning with back pressure, rather than trying to win a pure foot race. Number 12 showcases versatility. The utility forward, or Swiss Army knife player. They can play all 3 forward positions, second power play unit, second penalty kill, whatever you need. They're moderately above replacement level in every skill, but elite in none. Analytics guys love them because they boost teammates' expected goals. Salary cap roster juggling makes these players invaluable. Your 13th forward often fits this mold, ready to absorb injuries and shift into the top 6 or penalty kill without missing a beat. Steve Larmer and Mike Keane blaze this trail. Currently, it's Calle Yarncroke, Barclay Goodrow, and late career Andrew Cogliano filling this role. Since they have no glaring weakness, the only counter is matching your best players against them and winning with raw talent. Now we shift to the blue line with Archetype 13, the offensive defenseman. These are the defensemen who think they're forwards, leading the league in assists from the back end. They jump up as the 4th attacker, lead breakouts with stretch bombs or end-to-end rushes, and quarterback the power play from the high umbrella position. Historically, offensive defensemen needed defensive shelter, like Paul Coffey paired with a stay-at-home partner. Modern transition demands have created hybrids with better pinches and gap control. Paul Coffey and Phil Housley wrote the blueprint. Today, Quinn Hughes, Adam Fox, and Erik Karlsson continue pushing boundaries. Beat them by dumping pucks behind them and pressuring hard, forcing turnovers when they're caught with aggressive gaps. Archetype 14 is the puck-moving defenseman, slightly different from pure offense. These players deliver crisp first passes to beat forechecks, leading their team in exit percentage. They rely more on agility than end-to-end speed, using a patient style to find the right play. Their microstats shine in controlled zone exits per 60 and stretch pass success rate. As forechecks evolved into complex 1-2-2 pressure systems, efficient puck movers became invaluable. Analytics clearly show zone exit skill directly correlates with team expected goals share. Sergei Zubov mastered this art. Modern examples include Devin Toews, Jacob Slavin, and Rasmus Andersson. Counter them by angling to their backhand along the boards and trapping outlet lanes with stacked forwards. Let's go completely opposite direction with Archetype 15, the stay-at-home defenseman. These guys block shots, clear the crease, and bring order to net front chaos. They rarely cross the offensive blue line and generate few shot attempts. But on the penalty kill, they're absolutely essential, logging heavy shorthanded minutes. Old-school behemoths like Hal Gill gave way to slightly more mobile versions like Joel Edmondson as the NHL's pace increased. They still need to keep gaps tight because being too slow makes you a liability. Ken Daneyko set the standard, with Adam Larsson and Radko Gudas carrying on today. Lure them laterally with east-west zone entries where their pivots become the weakest link. Archetype 16 brings us the complete package, the two-way defenseman. These players post positive results in both expected goals for and against. They join the rush when lanes open but judge risk perfectly. They handle top pair minutes against elite forwards and never need shelter. The prototype is Nicklas Lidstrom with his anticipatory genius. In the salary cap era, these players command massive contracts because they eliminate roster construction problems. Lidstrom and Scott Niedermayer showed the way. Victor Hedman, Charlie McAvoy, and Drew Doughty dominate today. Force them to their backhand during puck retrieval and maintain relentless forechecking to erode their stamina. Number 17 brings the physical element, the physical or enforcer defenseman. These players lead the team in hits per game while logging middle pair minutes. They clear the crease with authority and turn corner battles into punishment. They're not necessarily fighting every night, but they definitely set the tone. The 2021 cross-checking crackdown forced these defensemen to adjust, replacing cross-checks with stick lifts. Gap control improvements became vital because slower foot speed gets exposed when defensive rules tighten. Scott Stevens defined this role through fear. Jacob Trouba and Nikita Zadorov carry on the tradition. Use deception against them with cutbacks behind the net to use their momentum against them. We're almost done, but first, subscribe for daily hockey videos. These last few archetypes are game changers. Archetype 18 showcases the modern game, the mobile or transitional defenseman. These players have elite four-way mobility, escaping forechecks with their feet rather than just passing. They activate deep in the offensive zone below the circles to create overload situations. When they dive in, the third forward rotates high to cover. This is essentially the modern rover position revived. Analytics from the 2010s about offensive zone time validated these activation schemes that Carolina and Colorado perfected. Coaches pair them with conservative partners to cover their pinches. Brian Leetch pioneered this style. Cale Makar, Miro Heiskanen, and Shea Theodore represent the new wave. Counter with quick chips behind them and stretch passes to expose the vacated point. Number 19 is the power play quarterback defenseman. Not always the same as your top pair defender, sometimes these are specialists like Shane Gostisbehere playing third pair at even strength. They run the umbrella or 1-3-1 formations from up top, reading penalty kill rotations like a book. Their shot pass timing creates tips, and they've mastered the blue line drag to shift shooting lanes. Right shot quarterbacks command premium value because they sync perfectly with left dot snipers for one-timers. Al McInnes and Sergei Gonchar established the position. John Carlson, Rasmus Dahlin, and Morgan Reilly excel today. Penalty killers counter with diamond formations, forcing rim plays instead of seam passes while fronting potential screens. Archetype 20 focuses purely on defense, the penalty kill specialist on the blue line. These players read pucks off glass perfectly and flash quick sticks into passing lanes. They share short penalty kill shifts of 30 to 35 seconds for maximum pressure. Their specialty is defensive zone retrieval, followed by high flip clears. After the 2008 slashing crackdown, penalty kills shifted toward aggressive schemes, so these specialists now need speed instead of just long reaches. Willie Mitchell set the standard. Jonas Brodin and Adam Pelech continue the tradition. Beat them with drop passes on entries and seam passes inside the dots. Number 21 might seem simple, but it's an art, the shot blocking specialist. These fearless players have perfected knee-down technique and controlled slides. They'll lead the team with over 150 blocks per season while accepting bruises as part of the job. The Rangers' 2022 playoff run spotlighted players like Ryan Lindgren putting up heroic block totals. Teams now track heat maps of block attempts to refine when to block versus when to front shooters. Craig Ludwig was the shin pad legend. Alec Martinez and Ryan Lindgren sacrificed their bodies today. Counter with pump fakes and lateral drags before shooting far post around their slides. Time to talk about the last line of defense with Archetype 22, the butterfly goaltender. These goalies drop to their knees on nearly every shot, using wide butterfly flares to seal the ice. They rely heavily on post integrations like reverse VH and regular VH. Their athletic hips and core strength enable quick recoveries for second and third saves. Patrick Waugh popularized this style, though modern pads are thinner for faster rebounds. Coaches now adapt defensive zone coverage to funnel shots into areas favorable for butterfly saves. Waugh and Ed Belfour established the blueprint. Andrei Vasilevsky and Thatcher Demko dominate with it today. Beat them with quick releases, high glove or blocker side, forcing lateral movement before elevating the puck. Archetype 23 brings balance, the hybrid goaltender. These goalies mix stand-up and butterfly techniques, reading shooters before committing to either style. They use deeper stances with active hands for better rebound control through their gloves and stick. They'll stay on their edges longer to cover high shots that pure butterfly goalies might miss. Carey Price in his prime was the textbook hybrid. This style helps against high-tip traffic since they drop into butterfly later than pure butterfly goalies. Curtis Joseph pioneered the approach. Price before his injuries and Connor Hellebuck excel with it now. Counter with low hard shots to create rebounds since hybrids emphasize control, scramble situations cause them problems. Number 24 is mostly history now, the stand-up goaltender. These goalies maintained upright posture and rarely dropped, relying on glove and blocker positioning plus pure reflexes. This style is basically extinct in modern hockey, though you might see traces in older backup goalies. Tony Esposito mastered it, with Dominik Hasek creating his own chaotic hybrid version. The counter was simple: go low with dekes and force lateral movements where they struggled to recover. Our final goalie archetype at 25 is the aggressive puck-handling third defenseman. These goalies play at the top of their crease and roam behind the net to play pucks. They launch perfect stretch passes to wingers flying the zone and anticipate dump-ins by skating along the trapezoid edges. Martin Brodeur expanded what goalies could do with the puck, leading to the trapezoid rule in 2005 to limit roaming. Modern examples like Igor Shesterkin still fire tape-to-tape stretch passes within the trapezoid. Their aggressive depth forces shooters to adjust deke timing. Brodeur and Ron Hextall defined this style. Igor Shesterkin and Yusei Saros carry it forward with slightly less roaming, but maintain that high crease depth. Beat them by chipping pucks softly into non-trapezoid corners to trap them outside their net. Subscribe right now if you want to see more breakdowns exactly like this one. Whether you're trying to understand what makes your favorite player special or figuring out your own game, knowing these archetypes changes how you watch hockey forever. Every shift becomes a chess match between different player types, all trying to impose their strengths while hiding their weaknesses. That's what makes this the greatest game on earth.